All right, this is actually part five. So, we are in the midst of reading the 179-page complaint filed by Justin Baldoni today, which the media is saying he also names Taylor Swift. I haven't gotten to a point where he names Taylor Swift, but I'm looking through the entire complaint and I'm going to read it to you so that you can know too. If you want to follow along, you can look at the bottom of the screen and there are the other parts of the playlist. Go watch these first, or else it's not going to make sense. We're reading it from the beginning. We are now at paragraph 31. Let's go. Almost immediately, Lively began inserting herself in the production process in intrusive ways well beyond the scope of her contractual entitlements. For example, Lively began to insist on creative control over her character's wardrobe. While lead actors are sometimes granted approval over their character's general look, they generally do not receive full control over wardrobe decisions without input from the director or the producers. What may seem like an innocuous request can in fact have monumental impact on film production. Ignoring the director's vision for her character and disposing of the weeks of effort and creativity spent by the wardrobe team on shopping and carefully crafting her wardrobe, Lively sent hundreds of images to the film's costume director, including into the late hours of the evening, depicting the style of wardrobe she wanted for her character. The costume designer had to reshop Lively's wardrobe, far exceeding the allocated budget and diverting time and resources, while also preparing wardrobes for the rest of the cast. At one point, Lively insisted that her character had money and could afford $5,000 shoes, despite being a fledgling small business owner. This forced Baldoni to rethink the entire script that he had been in. This forced Baldoni to rethink the entire script that had been in the works for well over a year and was approved by both Sony and Wayfarer. A script that Wayfarer had commissioned multiple drafts of and incorporated countless notes, including input from the book's author, Colleen Hoover. The wardrobe budget ballooned. No, I'm sorry. We saw what she wore to the Super Bowl. She basically wore an Adidas tracksuit with a bunch of gold jewelry, like Honey don't know how to style herself. Let's just be for real. Lively often refused to participate in wardrobe fittings at the production office, which were a mere 15 minutes from Lively's home. Instead, she insisted that the costume department pack up wardrobe and deliver it to her personal residence, loading the wardrobe department on trucks and delivering the contents to Lively's house in the middle of congested Manhattan for fittings cost time and money, always in short supply on any major film. Requests of this nature are typically made during contract negotiations. Since Lively made no such request at the time, this added expense was not included in the budget. Lively, who had a greater obligation to the studios as an executive producer, paid no heed to the budget constraints, let alone to the months of planning that had already been completed. In an effort to maintain harmony at the start of their working relationship and to avoid further delays caused by wardrobe conflicts, Baldoni and the studio reluctantly ceded full control to Lively over her wardrobe. This concession quickly proved regrettable. On the first day of the principal photography, paparazzis captured and published photos of Lively in character wearing her hand-picked wardrobe. These images were widely reported as unflattering and sparked backlash from Sony. Baldoni received direct criticism from Sony, who voiced serious concerns about the impact of the photos on the film's public reception. Following these events, Baldoni approached Lively in her trailer to discuss necessary wardrobe adjustments and resetting their relationship to assert her role as director and his need to have approval over her wardrobe. The conversation, while professional, took considerable time and was later grossly misrepresented in Lively's CRD complaint, which falsely characterized the exchange of a lengthy outburst that delayed filming and caused the crew to wait for hours while Baldoni cried in Lively's dressing room. On information and belief, Lively circulated this false account to the New York Times with the intention and result that it be widely published. This conversation did not take hours, and any length of time it took was not because Baldoni cried for hours. In truth, rather than take heed of the concerns of the film's distributor and director, Lively took the time, among other things, suggests to Baldoni that he was being gaslit by Sony, Heath, and other producers, and tried to convince him to let her continue to take the helm. Baldoni did briefly become emotional during the conversation, but only in the response to what he believed was a genuine compliment from Lively, praising his work as a director and actor. In hindsight, this was part and parcel of the ongoing pattern of manipulation and gaslighting by Lively, intended to continue to allow her autonomy over her wardrobe. Lively later contorted this conversation in support of her baseless harassment accusations, alleging that Baldoni made inappropriate comments on her appearance. In reality, Baldoni, the film's director, was was relaying the distributor's concern, and the widespread social media criticism regarding the wardrobe's failure to meet audience expectations, a sentiment Baldoni shared. This incident is just one of many examples of Lively's troubling pattern of manipulation and lies. As another example, remember, we're on page 21 of 179. As another example, early in the pre-production stage, Lively sent Baldoni a long text describing how directors never permitted her to write scenes for the movies she acted in, nor gave her writing credits, even making her hand scribble her suggestions for lines so that they could not be traced to her. Lively boasted that she had even written for her husband's movies. Then Lively asked if she could take a pass at writing the rooftop scene and It Ends With Us, in which the characters Ryle and Lily first meet. This pivotal scene, much beloved by book fans, was critical for setting the tone of the movie. Sal Baldoni was reluctant to allow an actor, rather than a union screenwriter, to write this key scene. But Baldoni felt the need to allow Lively to rewrite the scene and agreed to take a look at what she had put together. The draft of the rooftop scene that Lively sent Baldoni dramatically differed from what had been written originally. Baldoni was hesitant about many of the changes, but thanked Lively for her passion and diplomatically told her that the scene would likely end up being somewhere between the original and Lively's version. Seemingly stung by Baldoni's exceedingly mild resistance, Lively did not respond and went silent for multiple days. Typical narcissistic mother. Later, she confirmed in a text message below that Baldoni's response, of course, didn't feel great for her, or another mega celebrity friend and Ryan Reynolds. To have my passion praised instead of my specific contribution. Lively was referring to an earlier meeting where Lively summoned Baldoni to her New York penthouse, where Baldoni was greeted by Ryan Reynolds, who launched into an enthusiastic praise for Lively's version of the scene. Hours later, as the meeting was ending, a famously close friend of Reynolds and Lively walked into the room and similarly began praising Lively's script. Baldoni understood the subtext. He needed to comply with Lively's direction from the script. I think maybe that's where people are getting that this was Taylor Swift, but they don't actually name Taylor Swift in this complaint at that part. Later, Baldoni felt obligated to text Lively to say that he had liked her pages and hadn't needed Reynolds and her mega celebrity friend to pressure him. Lively responded that the two were her dragons. Lively went on to say, they, Reynolds and the mega celebrity friend, also know I'm not always good at making sure I'm seen and utilized for fear of threatening egos or fear of affecting the ease of process. They don't give a shit about that. And because of that, everyone listens to them with immense respect and enthusiasm. So I guess I have to stop worrying about people liking me. I don't know emoji, emphasis added. The message could not have been clearer. Baldoni was not just dealing with Lively, he was also facing Lively's dragons, two of the most influential and wealthy celebrities in the world, who were not afraid to make things difficult for him. And then it has the screenshot of the text messages. Let me show you. If you send me the FDX, I'll work when I steal moments. And yes, of course, send them to Christy. We're all on the same team with the same goal. This is Justin. This is Blake. Great. Also, was working on the rooftop scene today. I really loved what you did. It really does help a lot. Makes it so much more fun and interesting. And I would have felt that way without Ryan and Taylor. You really are a talent across the board. Really excited and grateful to do this together. So Taylor Swift is named in this lawsuit. Specifically in a text message that he says he likes what she did with the rewrites, and he didn't need to be basically incentivized by Taylor and Ryan to feel that way. Let's keep going and follow me in the next part because this is getting juicy. And her response to him saying that is like one of the most manic rants I've ever seen. So follow me for the next one because I'm going to keep reading this.